Hey, Cards. This is Ryan Breckbill with the Center for Career and Professional Development. I'm here today to talk to you from the Van Sant Leadership Series. I typically do a workshop entitled Dare to be Challenged Near Peer Leadership, and I'm here to deliver that today to you. Obviously, it's a little bit different format than what we've used in the past, and my content is actually different than what we used in the past, but I'm excited to share some tips and strategies with you today about a great book that I've known for quite a number of years, The Leadership Challenge by Kouzes and Posner, two really great authors that I think have some great perspectives to share. So I'm going to break down some of that book for you today. Certainly invite you to email me if you have any questions or comments about today's content. So let's get to it. Again, the Leadership Challenge is what we're going to be chatting about today. You see my contact information there, rbreckbill@otterbein.edu. Ordinarily for this workshop, I do something called the Marshmallow Challenge, but wasn't quite sure how to pull that off virtually or through a recording. If you're interested, I would encourage you to Google Marshmallow Challenge. There's a video out there that talks about the results, and also it's an exercise with spaghetti, marshmallows, tape, and string, and your goal is to build a the tallest freestanding structure that you can within 18 minutes. So I would encourage you to take a look at that, and if you do that, give me a shout. I'd love to see videos or pictures of it. Again, feel free to email those to me at rbreckbill@otterbein.edu. But for today's session, again, we're focusing on the Leadership Challenge. There we go. Sorry about that. So I wanted to start off talking about a little bit between the differences between management and leadership, especially when we're talking about near peer leadership. Leadership and management go hand in hand, especially when you're working with your peers, whether it's a class project, whether it's a student organization, whether it's an internship, a part-time job, you name it. All the ways in which you're working together with your peers, my hope is that some of these practices will really shine through and help you improve your leadership skills. So Peter F. Drucker, one of my favorite quotes, he's a management guru who's written several books about it, but he says this: management is doing things right, and leadership is doing the right things. So we're going to dive into those a little bit deeper here as we go through the process. Again, management is doing things right, and leadership is doing the right things. So I'm going to ask you to spend a few seconds thinking about how you might define leadership. What is your personal definition of leadership? What does that look like? What does that entail? What characteristics and traits do you see? And I'm going to ask you to do the same thing for management. So I'm going to give you just a few seconds to think about that. Maybe jot a few of your ideas, words and phrases that come to mind. We're going to jot those down. And then I'm going to share with you two definitions, or a definition of each that I feel work really well. So we'll start off with leadership. Hopefully you've had some time to jot some ideas down about leadership. But this is how I think about leadership. You'll see this comes from the Higher Education Research Institute. A leader is not necessarily someone who holds some formal position of leadership or who is perceived as a leader by others. Rather, a leader is one who is able to affect positive change for the betterment of others, the community, and society. And this is my favorite part right here. All people, in other words, are potential leaders. Moreover, the process of leadership cannot be described simply in terms of the behavior of an individual. Rather, leadership involves collaborative relationships that lead to collective action, grounded in the shared values of people who work together to effect positive change. So my hope is that some of the themes that you see coming through in this definition came through in some of the ways that you defined and think about leadership. But I go back to that sentence in the middle: all people, in other words, are potential leaders. You do not have to have a title in order to be a leader. You don't have to be the president of an organization. You can be a new member and you can affect positive change within that organization. So know that all people are potential leaders. As we think about management, I went to good old Wikipedia and found this. So we've got some where the word management is derived from, some French. I don't know French. I'm not going to pretend to know French. From Latin, I did take Latin in high school, so I don't know exactly how to pronounce that. Manu agere would be my guess. Perhaps I'm wrong. If I am, there's some Latin experts. Feel free to correct me. I'm happy to take that feedback. But to lead by the hand is what that is referring to. In the French, the art of conducting and directing. So if you look at those two, then what we get today in terms of management is leading and directing all or part of an organization, often a business. Now, as you're thinking about near peer leadership, this could be student organizations, again, class projects, part-time work that you're involved in. How can you be a leader in each of those roles through the deployment of and manipulation of resources, human, financial, material, and so on. So management, art of conducting and directing, leading and directing. Leadership, going back, is a process, is a state of mind, a way that you act, a way that you think, a way that you behaved. So how do those two, as we think about the ways that we experience class projects, student organizations, how do those play? How do those work out? When do we need leadership and when do we need management? So I encourage you to think about that. I'll give you just a few seconds to think about a way in which you spend your time. Again, I'm using the same kinds of examples: student organizations, Greek life, athletics, part-time jobs that you have. Thinking about an experience in one of those ways in which you're spending your time. When do you need leadership? And when do you need management? Before we get into this, think about an idea that you have and how you maybe have shared that idea within an organization. So that's leadership. I have an idea, I have a vision, I want to take us somewhere. When do you need management? You need management to see that vision, that idea realized. You've got to gather people to come together to agree that that is a good idea and to help execute to that strategy. So in order, some ideas and texts that can help break that down, this is where we get into the Leadership Challenge, again by James Kouzes and Barry Posner. This book came out, I think, originally in the mid-90s. These two individuals interviewed hundreds of business leaders from around the world, and what they were looking for were themes and patterns that those individuals demonstrated that showed that they have leadership potential and value to their organizations. They came up with these 5 themes throughout the course of those interviews, and we're going to go through each of those 5. And I'll give you a little time after each to reflect about how you might demonstrate these characteristics, or how you could demonstrate these characteristics in terms of your areas of involvement. So those 5 exemplary practices, as they're known by Kouzes and Posner, are: inspire a shared vision, enable others to act, challenge the process, model the way, and encourage the heart. So what do each of those mean? We'll start with inspire a shared vision. Leaders passionately believe that they can make a difference. They envision the future, creating an ideal and unique image of what the organization can become. They understand where the organization is today. They have a vision for the future. They see how things could be improved internally, and perhaps how the organization could better serve its constituents externally. But they passionately believe they can make a difference. So this is an opportunity for you to reflect. Think about an organization that you're part of, and how can you, or how have you seen someone inspire a shared vision? Is that someone with a titled leadership role within that organization? Is that someone without a titled leadership role? And how did they promote their idea, their vision for that organization? Was it accepted? Was it not? And how did it play out? So think about that. Inspire a shared vision. And how might you, in terms of your involvement on and off campus, think about this trait and demonstrate that in your organization? Again, inspire a shared vision. Next is enable others to act. Leaders foster collaboration and build spirited teams. They actively involve others. Enable others to act. So again, thinking about the ways in which you're spending your time, where have you seen this demonstrated? Where have you seen someone really enable others to act? Where have you seen a leader, again, titled role or not, give away power? Use people's skills for the betterment of the organization. Get them involved. We've all been part of committee work and class projects where we've got that person who always takes the lead and who dishes out the assignments and just is kind of authoritarian in the way that they lead, rather than asking, who would like to take this part? What kinds of skills do you have? What are you interested in? How can we divide these tasks so that everyone is utilizing their strengths and their skills? Give that feedback to your team. They actively involve others. So how can you bring others to your vision. Give them roles, give them power, give them responsibilities. So again, think about some opportunities that you've had to do that, or where you've seen that occur from others that you've been a part of. Again, this is not just student organizations. I want you to think about supervisors that you've had for part-time jobs. Are they exemplifying some of these characteristics? Are they not exemplifying some of these characteristics? And again, take these ideas to your own experience. How might you enact these? The third practice is challenge the process. Leaders search for opportunities to change the status quo. They look for innovative ways to improve the organization. So they're often thinking, what could be does not have to be what is now. How do we challenge the process? How do we think differently about the ways that we serve our constituents, serve our customers, serve our students, serve our peers? How can it be better? They ask questions. They ask why. Why have we done it this way? Does it have to be done this way? And for someone who's got the mindset related to challenge the process, one of the worst things that they can hear is, we've always done it that way. That is no excuse for operating an organization. Just because it's always been done this way doesn't mean it's the best way to do that. So individuals who challenge the process, bring new ideas, bring fresh energy. Quite frankly, employers are looking for interns and new college graduates to come to their organizations with those ideas to challenge the process, to improve their systems and processes. So the more that you can develop this mindset of challenging the process in an appropriate and professional manner, I will add, the stronger your leadership characteristics will be. So think about an organization in which you've been involved, a part-time job or a class project where someone or you challenge the process, both in a positive way and in a maybe not so positive way. This is probably one of the most tricky in terms of how you deliver your ideas about challenging the process. So I just caution you again to be professional and courteous in the way in which you challenge the process. Asking questions would be my advice on one of the best ways to challenge the process. Again, why is it that we've done it this way? Does it have to be done this way? Could we improve it if we did this? Provide solutions and possibilities as you challenge the process. Next up is model the way. Establish principles concerning the way people, constituents, peers, colleagues, and customers alike should be treated and the way goals should be pursued. What is it that you want those who are around you, what behavior, what communication style, what is it that you can model so that they can follow? As you think about leaders that come to mind, when you think of exemplary leaders, whoever those might be, and I'll give you just a second to think about those, how did they model the way? How did they interact with others? How did they speak? How did they come across? What was their general reputation? But how did they model the way? Everyone's looking for role models. And I would say that as higher education professionals, we are role models. Students are looking to professionals as role models. First year and new students are looking to seniors as role models, and sophomores and juniors, because as you get to college, you're trying to figure out what this place is all about. How are other students modeling the way? What is acceptable for the culture of this campus? And what is acceptable for the culture of organizations that you've been a part of, student organizations? What is the culture and what's acceptable in terms of part-time jobs and workplace cultures that you've had? So how have you seen leaders modeling the way? And the last is encourage the heart. This is one of my top, most favorite areas of this book. Accomplishing extraordinary things in organizations is hard work. To keep hope and determination alive, leaders recognize contributions that individuals make. How many of us love to receive a thank you note? And whether it's a handwritten thank you note, whether it's an email, how many of us love that? If we were live in a classroom, I suspect all of us would be raising our hands. I know I certainly would. You've got to show gratitude to the people that are working with you to accomplish goals, because that helps motivate them. Saying thank you in a genuine way is one way that you can model the way, but also encourage your team to say, you know what, to take a step back and take a second and say, you know what, we've been working really, really hard over these past few weeks or months or even hours, whatever the case may be. It's important to take a moment and stop and say thank you, and that you appreciate their efforts, and that you value their experiences. And the more specific that you can be in naming how they have contributed and how they've added value to the project or the course assignment or the event that your organization is putting on, that person or that team that steps back to say thank you, and that really makes a difference. I know it goes without saying that we appreciate being thanked and recognized for our efforts. It is hard in a leadership role as you're managing teams and as you're creating a vision and developing strategies to execute that vision. With all kinds of things going on around you, it is hard to take that moment and realize, you know what, we need to stop and I need to thank my team for the amazing work that they're doing. That is very, very difficult. So encourage the heart is the fifth and last exemplary practice that Kouzes and Posner talk about in their book, The Leadership Challenge. So my final sort of parting words and advice for you all is to find your passion. And what is it? Sometimes that can be cliche, but what are you genuinely curious about and genuinely interested in? What do you do in your spare time? And what just fills you with intrinsic joy? And I look for those things and identify them and spend as much time doing them as possible. Work hard. It might seem, again, silly to put that out there, but you have opportunities to get better every day. And the more that you work at it, the better that you're going to get, the results that you're going to achieve. Not every day is going to be a great day, but you know what? You'll say, you know what, today wasn't a great day. I'm going to get better tomorrow by doing this. And you keep track of those goals that you've set for yourself and work hard to achieve them. I can't overemphasize the importance of integrity. Walk your talk, be full of integrity, or this made up word I enjoy, integraful. Walk your talk. Your reputation is very important. It lets people know, or it gives people an idea of who you are, how you operate, how you communicate, but just walk your talk. Do what you say you will do. Make a difference. All of you in the ways that you spend your time make a difference every single day. And many of us don't know how we make a difference, but commit yourself to serve others and serve your community, and you'll take a lot more away from that than what it is that you're giving. But make a difference. Be grateful. Goes back to encouraging the heart. Be grateful of those around you for the things that you have and the opportunities that you can take advantage of. Just be mindful of those, especially in these times. And lastly, have fun. Not everything about college life is fun. Certainly there are things that are challenging, but again, always be thoughtful about the opportunities that you have and take full advantage of them. So I just want to say thank you. I appreciate your time and attention during this. I wish we could be together to go through this video, but I hope that a few of the concepts rung true for you, or that you've got some takeaways from this. And if you do have any questions or would like to discuss further, feel free to email me at rbreckbill@otterbein.edu, and I'll be happy to have a conversation with you about more content here or any ways in which I can be helpful. So again, thanks for being part of this. I hope this was helpful as part of the Van Sant Leadership Series. Again, this is Dare to be Challenged Near Peer Leadership. I'm Ryan Breckbill with the Center for Career and Professional Development. Have a great day. Go Cards.